Welcome to another exciting episode of Alumni Talkies. I'm your host, Amitesh Pratap Singh, and with me are Divyanshi and Dhruv. Today, we have a distinguished alumnus with us, Mr. Sushrut Khanna from this class of 2015, specializing in finance. He brings over 8 years of invaluable experience in mergers and acquisition, investment banking, and corporate valuation. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, sir, we start things off by reminiscing about your time at SCMHRD. Could you share a bit about your MBA journey and how your specialization in finance shaped your career?
It's not too long ago when I think my MBA journey started, etc. Just seems like yesterday. Things have been brilliant. As soon as you sort of enter, I think the SCMHRD culture, the vibe, which I'm sure you all are experiencing as well since you joined over here, it sort of ingrains you into the grit, into the rough and tough, and sort of molds your entire personality and caricature in such a manner. So I think that is very essential, not just in, let's say, investment banking, etc., but obviously it provides the foundations to sort of succeed in life in different spheres. But specifically coming to your aspect regarding M&A and investment banking, I think a shout out to the long hours of assignments and the research and the surprise tests which come across, because I think that's a pretty essential thing that comes across in IB and M&A, which is that you are pretty much always on your toes and expecting the unexpected.
So I would like to ask, like with such an immersive career can you tell us about how SCMHRD contributed to your success in the field of mergers and acquisition?
I have to really thank everyone, right from my colleagues, my juniors, my seniors, and actually the faculty and the director that was then for sort of molding me, I think, into the person that I am today. I pretty much joined SCMHRD right off my undergrad, so I was pretty fresh green of the year, and I think the entire experience that you get over here with regards to the late nights, the work, and obviously interacting with people from different backgrounds, different sort of fields, it sort of gives you that entire, it broadens your horizons, for the lack of a better word, and it sort of gives you that entire aspect to go out of your comfort zone, get a sense of what is there. So I think that really did help quite a bit for preparing for moving into M&A.
That's really fascinating, sir. And now let's dive into some questions about your experience in M&A. So we have received some thought-provoking questions from the students across various specializations. So I will go through them one by one. Let's start with questions from Suryakant, who is specializing in business analytics. So his question is, there will obviously be differences in work culture of different organizations. How are cultural differences of the workforce handled post-M&A?
Right. So I think hit it the nail right on the head. Every organization, every sort of experience that you have is different from the other. There's no two things alike. I think the one commonality probably that would be there is that you have to be extremely diligent in your work. So intelligence can be substituted to a degree with diligence, but diligence can't be substituted with intelligence. Coming to the point that what the major differences. I think every organization had a different sort of approach towards going and tackling different opportunities. So while in M&A, when you had sell-side sort of mandate, Deloitte had a different approach to it versus, let's say, when I was in PwC, which is a slightly more aggressive approach towards it. So I think you need to have that malleable sort of nature towards how you fit. And again, a huge shout out and kudos to SCMHRD for bringing that in.
So next we have a question from Ritika, finance fanatic from our batch. So the question is, which type of synergies do you think are maximum capitalized in M&A?
So I think, again, every transaction is different and every deal is different over there. But broadly, from a theoretical sense, the most sort of leverage synergies which you get are your revenue synergies as well as your cost synergies, which sort of translate on a deal. So ideally, taking a simple merger, for example, obviously you want to have as much revenue as possible from different sources, tap out as much of the potential that is possible, while also reducing your unnecessary overheads and operational costs. So again, it's a mixture and a sort of balance between the two.
So, sir, next question we have from Soumya Raj, specializing in HR. And she asked that how do geopolitical factors influence the decision-making process for cross-border mergers and acquisitions?
Actually, it's a very nice question considering the current climate that's there, especially with international conflict that's been going across. And just to sort of update everyone a bit, 2023 was actually the year of funding winters, which had come across largely because of the Russia-Ukraine war which had taken place. So international funding had dried up. You had a great amount of debt, which had sort of the cost of debt had shot up significantly over there. So there is a significant impact and a direct impact that is there, geopolitical, as is with anything. So it's not necessarily it has to be an outbound transaction between two international geographies. I mean, the impact and ramifications of that war and the current wars are still going on are still felt in the current deals which we are also working on here in Noventiq.
So basically, just to elaborate on this, like how does country risk come into play for this geopolitical M&As?
Sure, I think I can give you a nice example with this, with regards to a recent transaction that I had recently closed. So my current organization, Noventiq, had recently acquired a company based out of Turkey. And as you know, Turkey has been affected, one, obviously by natural calamity, and also being a direct, it is a very important source for the Russian and Ukrainian economy. So they were severely impacted. What had happened was all the companies that were operating over there, especially the company which I was engaging with and talking to, were struggling for business, were struggling for achieving the same profit margins and the same levels of growth which they had achieved in the past. So, probably one man's misery is another man's fortune. We happen to sort of, come at the right time and find a brilliant approach, a brilliant sort of synergy between the two of us.
So we have another question from Anjali, who is from Sales and Marketing, and her question is, how have recent global trends in M&A impacted marketing strategies for companies in current business landscape?
It's a very nice one. So if you look towards one, the ESG impact, it's a very essential topic that's come up over the last 2 years. India is a little late to the party in terms of that, but just the basic essentials in terms of even everyday consumer products, personal care products or cosmetic products, there is a need by, I think, one Gen Z and society as a general to be cruelty-free, to be ecologically beneficial, etc. One, to obviously help reach your ESG score, which every corporation has to, and second, also to connect better with the respective consumers who are there, be it in, as I said, consumer tech, etc. It's a very essential requirement that's come. So it's really affected marketing quite a bit for the better.
It's quite interesting to hear marketing and finance conferences.
So our last question is from Mahima. She is specializing in IDA. And her question is, what trends do you foresee shaping the future of M&A in the coming 5 to 10 years?
Well, it's actually a very difficult thing to predict. Had I did that, I would pretty much be having my own fund. But I think, it's very fluid. It's very difficult to predict anything. It's just if I ask each of you right now, where do you see yourself 5 years? We have a standard routine answer to it, but we don't really know where we are. But if I could best hazard a guess, what I see is that the two areas, especially, I talk with regards to India first and then internationally second. So with regards to India, you see a large amount of funding which will come in the technology space, a large amount in infrastructure, and obviously by default, a large amount in the consumer space and healthcare. So these are probably the 3 or 4 core sectors which are going to be driving the economy, and a lot of trends you'll be seeing. In fact, you already see it quite a bit. There is a great deal of consolidation that's happening. So about 3-4 years back, you had every company, every small, big company going for an IPO, going for the fundraise. We helped quite a few in that case, etc. in my time. But now they've reached a point where they can't grow beyond a certain limit. They've reached that glass ceiling. So the consolidation phase is coming. So the larger players are coming, be it a Tata, be it a Unilever, be it a Godrej, who are coming in, acquiring these smaller companies and sort of entering into a platform play, is the technical term behind it. At the global level, it is a little ambiguous at the moment because you have certain geographies, for example, like Southeast Asia and Middle East, which are seeing a sudden boom and a revival in respective industries, be it real estate or be it, petrochem, for example. But on the other hand, you have the developed nations in Europe and US, which are pretty much struggling because of high inflation, high cost debt, etc. The trickle-down effect that's come over there. So it's a really tricky time for M&A. So I wish I had a concrete answer, but that's the best what I can do.
So as we wrap up, what suggestions and recommendations would you like to give to the students of SCMHRD who aspire to follow a similar path in the world of mergers and acquisitions?
So, first of all, I'd say best of luck to each and everyone to decide to take up this path. I'm not understating it when I say it's a very difficult service line or difficult line to sort of make a career. You read about it in newspapers and widely sort of mentioned that there's a high degree of burnout that is there. But that being said, it is very remunerative in different aspects, knowledge-wise, monetarily as well. My only aspect will be just keep your head down, stay focused, put up with the tough times. There are always good times ahead, and I think you're at the right place and at the right time also, in the right institution, surrounded with the right people. So all you just have to do is just sail through these 2 years comfortably, and life is a cakewalk.
Do you have any personal anecdotes that you would like to share with us? For example, anything that has happened in your life which is, like you said, put your head down, keep working hard. So was there like a click or a trigger in your life as well which made you realize that?
Yeah, I think that was actually in my first job. So I started off in valuations, which is a sort of ancillary arm of investment banking. And after about a year and a half in KPMG, so the recent renowned firm, etc., I thought I was not making any headway towards my goal of entering into IB, but things just happened to click because the target or the client I was working on, they happened to sort of the other side was Grant Thornton at the time. So the partner over there just happened to appreciate whatever little bit of work I was doing, the extra late nights I was putting in. So there was a very nice joke that I used to work in the client office. I used to reach at around 4 or 5 in the morning. I would leave at around 2 in the morning. So I had like a 3-hour sleep period in between. So the partner would often joke that you can take the job of security guard by now. But I didn't pay off in the end. So had that late night burning the midnight oil not happened, I would not have got that opportunity or the initial footholding into entering into IB, and that's what things have gone pretty decently from there.
Fantastic advice, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. And that concludes another enlightening episode of Alumni Talkies. Thank you, Mr. Khanna, and to all our listeners. Tune in for more engaging episodes moving forward. Until then, stay inspired. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.